political and social and economic developments, especially political, and the security developments here in Egypt, and how the state security officials and the Egyptian military are exerting their utmost effort together with the whole nation, the whole popularity of Egypt, to kick out terrorism out of this country with all their might. And we were very saddened to hear the sad events of killing that officer from the General Nabil Farag, may his soul rest in peace, the day before yesterday by the hands of some terrorists in Kardasa in Giza. And on that topic and other topics also concerned to stabilizing security in Egypt, we're delighted to have with us Mr. Volkhard, Windfort, Chairman of Cairo Foreign Press. Good morning, Mr. Windfort.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, sir, here on Nile International. Now, before we talk about the developments in the security situation in Egypt, I would like to know your opinion on how the media, both public and private, are covering the security status in Egypt and the Egyptian security forces fighting or combating terrorism.
Today, it's fair enough to say that foreign and Egyptian media in general are reporting the security situation as it really is. I mean, last details, not everybody will be able to have it according to the relations of the reporters or the editors-in-chief with the security services and their spokespeople. But as a matter of fact, I would say the way how those who oppose the present regime, government, setup, political, whatever, behave is really abhorring, and nobody, neither in the West or in the East, I don't just speak of my country, Germany or Europe, would accept that things of that kind happen in their own capitals or cities. For example, to use the metro, the underground, so the subway, to put explosive here and there, or even to make it difficult for them to function or to move, or more than that, that the railways are in a situation where they are afraid to let trains run. So, for example, if I want to go to Alexandria or just to Tanta or to Benha or Damanhur, I cannot, because there is a security situation just not allowing to risk passengers being transported by the railway. There are other items make it very clear. Such security risks are not caused or really caused by normal political opponents, at least without going too far, up, I would say, abnormal political opponents. Those who in the opposition to a special internal setup risk the lives of their countrymen as it comes, right like that. I don't think that in the West or in the East, anywhere in the world, this could be justified. That is absolutely impossible. And those who think that by such actions they will encourage an increasing percentage of their own countrymen to join them in their, as they call it, political fight, are very wrong, because the contrary is the case. I'm very sure that those who are supporting certain oppositional fractions feel very much, well, I would say, cornered, because how could they justify such very, very, very abhorring attempts?
Right.
For example, the main metro station, the main subway station in Cairo is the Tahrir Square subway station, where two lines meet. And there is another important station which is in Bab al-Hadid, that is the main Ramses main railway station. situated. You can scarcely enter from there. I think they even closed now all the entries of Tahrir Square, or El Sadat as it is called, metro station. That is something which goes much further than political opposition. This is completely unacceptable for all.
Right. Those supporters that, or I mean, those opponents, or those this kind of opposition that you're talking about, they're claiming that they are in demonstration standing up for legitimacy. Now, on July 30th, and ever since June 30th and July 3rd, the whole nation came out on the streets to mandate the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, General Sisi, to fight terrorism and kick out those people out of the presidency house.
Yes, let me interrupt you here. I speak of yesterday and before yesterday, and even this very early morning I had my contacts. I don't know one single foreign correspondent, I don't know them all, but I know quite a few, who understand, who accept that political opponents take refuge to criminal acts to endanger the lives of their countrymen. Nobody can accept it. I would challenge and tell you, you wouldn't find any foreign correspondent and any Egyptian or Arab correspondent to accept the way some of these, well, criminal acts,
right, but going back to
put explosives in no, this is something nobody could justify.
It's unacceptable, I understand. But going back to the question I wanted to ask you.
And what you spoke of, this, I call it intifada-like, because the vocabulary has been enriched in recent years. Intifada, we speak of the Palestinian intifada, when the whole people had their uprising against Israeli occupation. We all had understanding for this, and if you have an intifada of more than 30 million people in the capital of a country, I think if you want to ignore it, you're free to ignore it. But if you ignore it or do not give it its importance, then you're either a bad analyst or you are just unable.
Right, exactly. You've taken me to the point that
I understand this, because we
there
don't know that
still some international
Germany,
media,
nor in France, and even in Egypt is a new phenomenon, but here it happened.
Yeah, but I want to compare two situations, because there is still some international media are analyzing it the worst way and saying that this is a coup and those people are fighting for legitimacy. Even some of the U.S. administration and are now considering the U.S. aid again to Egypt, reconsidering it.
Well, there are additional factors.
But my question to you, if those people have thought that the same thing happened in Germany before, and when Hitler came to power by the ballot box, have the German military done what the Egyptian military have done, the whole world would have been saved two very bad wars in history.
One war. Hitler was responsible for one war.
One is enough.
The First World War was somewhat earlier, from 1914 to 1918.
So they are putting the blame on the Egyptian military. But I think Germany is wishing that their military could have done the same thing like our military and try to kick out the Nazist regime.
You could even put it in that way. If peoples who have been subjected to dictatorial regimes, like the regime of Pinochet, General Pinochet in Chile, who has been strongly supported by the United States in those days. He had ousted, in a very bloody revolution, a democratically elected president, Salvador Allende. This is really very fresh in the minds of many. So I think if there would have been a comparable intifada, even if it would have been only 2-3 million people, no need to speak of 30 or 32, as it was the case in Egypt. Yes, I think events would have been done, and if you would have something like that in Germany. It didn't. So that's why all the world, when it happened, were startled. But even the beginning of the revolution, it took that shape when millions went to the streets. In the first 3 days of the January Revolution, 2011, more than 800 young girls and boys and citizens who took to the street risked their lives and lost their lives. And more than 1,000 lost their eyes because the snipers wanted to blind them successfully. They did it.
Yes.
So I think if that would have happened of that kind anywhere else, Germany, Chile, we had a bloody coup in Greece not so very much time ago. I mean, then that would not have been possible. You are right. That's why I remember when this happened, the Revolution Part 1, we had 2 parts, that was 25th and the following days of January 2011, and the 30th of June this year, which was Part 2. They are interconnected, so that made it very clear to the world public that this is a people's will. That was a kind of plebiscite, and stronger than a plebiscite, because then there was a recently a plebiscite over the, well, more or less a brotherhood dictated or fabricated constitution, as they called it, in 2012. Those who even took it worthwhile to go and put their votes were less than 1/3 of the electorate. So, and I make this very clear, and we all who live here have seen it. And today, I cannot imagine that any media will be